Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to Embrace the Moon Tarotscopes and your Tarotscope for the month of March 2018. I'm just going to move these over so they're a bit more centered in the frame. All right, so as I was shuffling, I got an overall sense of this knowing, but almost being too cocky in your knowing. So it's one of those things that comes with feeling like you have a sense of intuition and feeling like you're connected to your intuition, and then finding out after you followed through with intuition and things didn't go as you intuitively thought that they would. But there's this underlying current of knowing that a part of you knew that what you thought was intuition wasn't really, but you didn't want to let that go. I hope that makes sense, and I'm sorry if that offends, but that's what I tapped into. So if that was you and you had experienced that, the overall message has to do with really connecting better with intuition. So instead of just being like, aha, I know that that's what it is, and then going with that, get an overall sense of knowing what your intuition also feels like, so that whenever you go to do something or follow through something, if you have a certain sensation that doesn't feel that it supports what you think you know, then it might be time to take a step back and reevaluate the connection to see, is it intuition or is it ego that thinks that it's playing intuition? I hope that makes sense. And that is actually coming up in the obstacle for the month. So I feel like it's something that you may have already experienced, but it's something that you're going to be struggling with as you move through the month of March. Because intuition is such a big thing. Like, I don't know. I don't know about you. I just know that when I'm on a good roll with intuition, and I get these hits of knowing something, and then I see that what I've known come to fruition, or I see that it's been validated, there's definitely I don't want to say a sense of rush, but that is the first word that comes to mind. Like, there's a rush with that. Oh yes, I had it right. But then sometimes what follows that is just getting comfortable with this first choice and perceiving that's intuition. Oh, that's what it is. And then you find out later that wasn't what it was. And I hope that makes sense, because I don't have any analogies that are coming to mind except for the fact that you just get so comfortable that the first thing pops in your head, you think that because it's the first thing that pops into your head, that must be intuition. And sometimes ego kind of rises because I've been validated, therefore everything that I perceive initially must therefore be intuitive, and therefore there you have it. And so then there's no second checking. There's no check-in. I'm like, okay, I know this was the first thing that popped into my head, but is it the actual intuition, or is it just kind of the first thing that popped into my head? And so there are other things that you can kind of tap into to make sure that what you have thought or perceived or think that you know is actually an intuitive hit. And some of that is kind of tapping into how you feel physically. So how you feel, it could be an emotion that comes with it. It can be a physical feeling that comes with it. It's something you could feel within the head. It could be something that you feel within the throat, or something you feel within the chest. It could be a halting sensation, a blocking sensation. But kind of, when you have that first impression, there's a way that you can kind of tap into it, and another means to make sure, is that just the first thought that popped into my head and ego's pushing me to go with it, or is that actually the intuitive connection that I was supposed to have? So doing a check-in in some other format will validate before you kind of settle into that being the actual intuitive hit. So hopefully that makes sense to you, but that is something that you're going to be working with as you move through the month of March. And I believe that this is an obstacle because it's going to be a bit hard to let go of the idea that that some of the things that you perceive to be an intuitive knowing has to be double checked with another source of internal intuitive feeling or understanding or connection. So I feel that there's a battleground that's going to take place for a bit of the month of March. But I do feel that the bulk of you, if not all of you, will get the swing of it as you come to the end of March. Just kind of a realization is going to occur because of things that you're going to first impression perceive that it's an intuitive hit, and it's not going to be validated, or it's not going to come to fruition. And as a result of that, the realization of having a second internal source of check-in is something that you're going to want to be connecting with. And you'll get it. I do believe you'll get it, but be mindful. You'll get it quicker if you're mindful of that connection. So in the mental realm, I'm doing the four corners again, but I have the strength present and the obstacle, which we already have done the obstacle. So in the mental realm, within the mind, we have the Page of Pentacles. And so there are some things that are being presented to you or have already been presented to you, and you're kind of ready to go somewhere with it, ready to take it to the next level. So this new financial security comes to mind. Something that has presented itself to you. You have already done the work to plan it, to nurture it, and to have it grow. It has kind of reached its max at its level, and so you're ready to take it to the next level. You're ready to take it to whatever whatever needs to be done so it can flourish bigger, better, and become more. So it's not new work. It's work that you've already done and you've already seen results because of what you've put into it. But you're just ready for the next level. And so mentally, your head is really wrapped around what it is that you want to do, what it is that you can do, what your potentials are, and whether or not the potentials that present themselves to you are actually something that you want to tap into. And I feel that this is where that obstacle plays a huge part into. One of the reasons why you're being asked to take the time to have a second check-in with yourself, so that whenever you come to some sort of conclusion, you know that the conclusion is not first perception ego, but actual intuition. So when you're making these decisions, just because it comes at you and you're like, wow, yes, that's it, you are actually being asked to sit with that and have a second check-in. Find another means other than first impression or first impression knowing to guide you. Have another internal connection. You are not being asked to go for external help unless you feel that you need external help. You are being encouraged and being told that you can still connect internally with yourself and with your intuition for this guidance, but you're just being asked to be a little bit more frugal with the decision making and really try to tap into a deeper connection of knowing. And this will just help hone your intuition too. In the physical realm, we have the Queen of Swords, and this is really feeding. I'm getting a sense of one feeding the other. So nurturing ideas is what I'm feeling as far as the physical realm, and it has to do with work, it has to do with business, whatever it is that you got going on in the mind that you feel that you're ready for the next level. Within the physical realm, we have that going on too. Again, we're having that reiterated. We're kind of revalidating that concept of your focus for this month, and it has to do whatever this business venture or it feels very much a business venture, career venture of some sort. So whatever it is that you are taking to the next level, physically, you're being asked to really ponder your consequences, really ponder the analytics, the logistics, and nurturing, knowing how to nurture the right ones that'll get to the end results that you want. Yeah, and it goes back to, again, tapping into that intuition, but tapping into the intuition that is deep rooted, not just first impression. So it goes with the whole ponder. You're being asked to really kind of bring in all of your senses in some way, shape, or form, connecting with all four corners of yourself with this. Really getting to know all four corners of the situation, all four corners of yourself and how you can actually merge the two. Yeah, it's really asking you to really tap into the deep side of yourself. So to nurture the right decisions, because if you make a decision on first impression, it's not that you can't go back. So don't take that as what I'm saying, because you can go back and realign yourself with figuring out what the next level is. That's always, free will always allows us to go back. But sometimes, going back, sometimes the cleanup it can take a little bit longer. And so getting to that first step might make it seem longer to reach it as a result of it. So you can avoid some of those delays if you really connect to that nurturing, intuitive side, but applying the logistics when you're trying to figure out what it is. These are really feeding each other as far as whatever this venture you are on, whatever it is that you're planning. And I see it within the emotional realm. I feel this isn't so much relationship as in actual emotion. So there is something that you are bonded to, and again, this is feeding whatever that's going on again. So there's an emotional bond that you have in some way, shape, or form with this venture that you're on and with the decisions that you're going to be going through the month of March. And you're going to come to a point where it's going to come to a head, and you're going to have to walk away from something that you are really trying very, very hard to make work. So there's an element of this that you are attached to so much that whenever you are thinking of new ways and you're trying to nurture an idea that will allow this to come together, you're trying to make this one specific emotional bond that you have with this one element to fit. Every scenario you come up with, every idea, every plan, you are consistently trying to figure out how you can make this one specific aspect merge, fit in, be involved in some way or another. And you will come to a point, and it feels kind of around the third week of March, where you're going to realize, all right, the reason why everything that I have considered up to this point has not worked is because this can't fit. This has to be walked away from. So however that applies for you, please take note of that. If you start feeling that towards the end regarding this particular situation, if you are indeed feeling like a part of you is beginning to consider, I think I need to walk away from this aspect for this to work, do a check-in with your intuition, do that second check-in that you have developed, hopefully by the time that this arrives, to find out what it is that you are being guided to actually know regarding that specific situation. Spirit or passion realm, we have justice. And I just feel that this is like a height of balance. Towards the end of the month, you're going to get to a point where you feel like things are coming together and you don't feel like you have to continually weigh in and weigh your options and weigh your ideas and weigh your perceptions. Like you're towards the end of the month, that fourth week, you're really going to get a sense of how everything can come together, everything can kind of stay in balance, and how you can feed the passion that you have regarding the situation and then be able to move forward. I'm like, which one? So for the month of March, I'm going to do this one. So the month of March, we have Ace of Swords. And this is going to be the entire energy. This is going to be the energy for the entire month. You're going to be riding with this whole opening up to new ideas as you move through the entire month. And it comes along with that, knowing that you're taking something to the next level. And this is one of the reasons why that obstacle of needing that second intuitive check-in is going to be required, because you're just going to be hit with just these new ideas constantly and new ways that you can perceive this situation and how you can take it wherever you want to take it. And so this is, you're going to be riding this energy through the month, and that's where this whole, as far as what you actually physically ground, you got to be logistic and nurture the right ones so that you can feed this new growth and hopefully feed the growth in your intuition so that you are intuitively connecting in the best way possible for yourself. But this is just that new ideas being available to you is going to be presented as you move through the bulk of March. And they're all going to be good ones, and they're all going to be coming from, like, the bulk of them are going to be coming from you. You're going to be so inspired. And so with that inspiration comes, this flourish of, oh, this could work. Ah, this could work. Oh, I could do this, or I could do that. And so there's just a sense of, being able to weed through them and ground the ones that you can nurture the best, and then are going to actually have you come to that place of feeling everything's kind of coming together in a balanced situation, and feeling like you are being justly rewarded for the work that you're doing, and feeding the right part of your intuitive self. So the month of March is definitely going to have presentation of just really tapping into your side of that imagination. Allows you to think of new ideas, and it's all going to be ideas. It's not something you're going to be manifesting right away. It's all going to be happening within your head, but it's going to be a lot happening in your head that you're going to be contemplating. And it can be kind of overwhelming because, sometimes we don't know which one. And that's where the frustration with the obstacle comes into play, because with so many ideas, sometimes it's hard to know which one's the right one. Sometimes it's not always the most dazzling, and sometimes it is the most dazzling, but we don't want to take the most dazzling because we've been ingrained to think that the most dazzling is not the right one. That's when the intuitive check-in really comes to play, so that when you have all of these huge inspirations come floating into your head, you'll know which ones you can be like, okay, I love that idea, but I just know that it's going to take more work to nurture it, and it's not going to be a good fit, and it's not going to take me where I know I want to be in 3 months or 6 months, and so on. So your strength is going to be King of Pentacles, and I feel that this is really talking about grounding yourself so that you know the proper way to manifest your hopes, dreams, and desires. So this is really talking about getting yourself stable to the point where you can't deny that your intuition is now on point. It's not just first impression. It is on point. Getting yourself stable internally and mentally and physically to the point, and it feels mostly in relationships to these cards, so that knowing what it is that you want to kind of bring down and nurture, knowing what it is that you want to do to take you to the next level, really kind of grounding yourself in these ideas so that you can manifest them, and knowing which one of these ideas you can actually truly manifest. Sometimes bright ideas come to mind, and we know that they come with a lot of flourish and they're fascinating and we want to do them, but there's a part of us that also knows, yeah, but that's not really going to fit in my life right now. So knowing which ones of these ideas that present themselves, being so grounded in who you are and what you want. And if this means making a goal, like sitting down to write out what is the next level for you, so that you can really ground yourself on what it is that you want to take yourself, can help kind of create better clarity of what it is that you want to ground and what it is you want to nurture. And then really tapping into that connection that you need to be able to be guided by your inner intuition and know without a shadow of doubt that it's not first impression guidance, it's actual, a very validated check-in that is actually an intuitive knowing, intuitive hit, intuitive guidance. But really tapping into that so that you can manifest what it is, the next step it is that you want to manifest, because the energy is available for you. You just kind of gotta get your ducks in a row, so to speak. So getting grounded so that you can manifest and create this kind of world that you are working towards, this next level that you're working towards. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull one more card to kind of wrap it up or give you a mantra or whatever, let's see what the card, the universe decides to give us. Pale lime, gentle healing. And I feel this is in direct relationship with this obstacle that you're going to have through the month of March. Don't be too hard on yourself. We all go through this. Even the best of the best people who work with intuition, we all work with that, those moments where we don't check in when we should have checked in, and so that we don't follow through when we're guided to follow through. I was actually listening to a podcast the other day, and I cannot remember which one it was. Actually, I listened to several. I think there was 2 or 3 different podcasts by different people who talked about fighting with their guides. Like, even when their guides say, you should be doing this, and they will be like, yeah, but I want to do this. And we have free will. We have every right to do that. And so if this occurs, if you are having this battle of feeling like you have an intuitive hit, and then when things kind of come together, however the end result is, you realize that you went with the first impression, not exactly an intuitive hit, don't be hard on yourself. It happens to everybody. Take a step back, get to know yourself, get to know that intuitive part of yourself, find another means to check in better, and then just check in better. And then if it happens again, you know, nobody's right 100% of the time. Even your best intuitive people, your best psychics, your best mediums, nobody is right 100% of the time. And we allow this in any other part of ourselves. We even allow doctors to make mistakes. You know, doctors don't even make the right diagnosis 100% of the time the first time around. And we forgive them of that. Don't be so hard on yourself if during this struggle of that check-in, and know that it's okay. Just take a step back, reevaluate. Check in and recheck in. Develop a way that you can check in on your validation, and then just be gentle with yourself as you move forward through this process, because I feel the energy of really manifesting what it is that you desire, it's available for you. And by the end of the month, you can really start putting some fire to that. But in the process, while you're going through it, don't be too hard on yourself. All right, Sagittarius, that is all I have for you for the month of March 2018. Make it a great one, and hopefully I will see you in the next month.